Hi Aquarius, we are here with a part 2 to the reading. So let's go over what we have so far. I'm looking at Magician, Devil, Three of Wands, Queen of Cups, Eight of Swords, the Empress, Queen of Pentacles, Knight of Cups, Two of Pentacles. What I'm seeing here is that there's something that you're trying to do with the Magician. There is an intention here to create something, to manifest something. Feel focused on it. I'm seeing Temperance on the bottom of the deck. This is about needing to be patient with the process and also to do it properly. Now, having Magician and having the Devil next to one another can mean that the Devil is coming through and like attempting to sort of like commandeer your mental space. So the Magician is that part of you that's like, I have this bright idea and this is about like realizing this idea and going through this process, or like something that I'm trying to create here, and then see what happens when I really get involved in the process of like making something happen, and then seeing where it goes and allowing again for the natural progression of something. The Devil will come through and be like, you should be doing it for these reasons, or trying to yield these certain results, to the point where it takes you away from your actual process. Focus only on the results that you're going to get from it, and then it becomes a disingenuous process. I'm seeing Devil and Three of Wands, so this can be an obsession with like the results, an obsession with making progress, again, just for the sake of making progress. And Magician and the Devil can be the Devil coming through and being like, you should pay attention to this part is really important, and then you put all of your focus on that, and then you end up achieving that, and you're like, why do I feel empty? And it's because like the Devil is making this empty promise to you. So it's like telling you to focus on the wrong things essentially. And the Devil can promise things that like may look good on paper, but again, when you actually like achieve those things, or those things do come to fruition, if they actually do, you feel kind of disconnected from it because it lacks depth. So it's just something to be mindful when it comes to what's influencing you, the choices that you're making, how you're doing what you're doing, and to not be so focused on yielding certain results that you lose sight of what you're actually doing, like the quality of what you're doing. And there's going to be more satisfaction and more like a sense of mastery, being present to the actual process of what you're doing, and then allowing it to be what it's going to be without trying to force it to be anything other than what it will be, because then conflict arises from that. We have Queen of Cups and Eight of Swords. This can be something that internally you can be feeling a bit stuck on. We're also seeing the Empress here. So you can feel like when it comes to a certain aspect of your like fluid water energy, you could feel like you're having a little bit of a mental block here. This can be a disconnect that you're feeling. The way that I'm reading this, the Magician is going to be, I see this Magician as being very, very connected with your creative energy, but having Queen of Cups be sort of separated from the Empress, the part of you that does things from a space of inspiration, you could be feeling blocked from that, but it's because like the Devil is intercepting. So when there's not this like pressure to perform in a certain way, you can feel like you have the most inspiration ever, but as soon as you start making it about things other than that, you can feel like for some reason that motivation is gone, that inspiration is gone, because it's like results, and you're like, why am I even doing this now? It doesn't feel fulfilling to me, and that's what can happen. But I'm not seeing this process be something that doesn't resonate with you any longer. It just feels like reminding yourself of what's motivating you, and to shift your focus onto whatever this is that you're tending to in a way where you feel like you bring your heart back into it. Because again, the Devil's going to come through and be like, you need to do this or accomplish this, like that's going to be what you want, and then you end up doing those things and you feel empty inside, because it's not getting to those deeper parts of yourself, like the recesses. The Devil is something that stays very surface level, and so it feels empty when you then manifest that thing, and you feel disconnected from it because it's happening on a very superficial level. Queen of Cups and the Empress is that part of you that's like the well of inspiration and care and heart from within you that is just endless. It goes on and on and on. But Eight of Swords is feeling blocked from that part of yourself. And so you can feel like not particularly inspired right now, but it's because you need to nurture the part of you that is the Queen of Cups. This can mean like you get in touch with like the cosmos, you get in touch with nature, you like have a nice chat with somebody, you connect and have some sort of intimacy, you do something that you really love, things that will bring you back into the heart space, and less so in solar plexus. Not to completely abandon that, but it feels like making this personal again when something may have become impersonal, and that's going to be helpful, because there's this part of you that really likes to be, for your heart to be involved in what you're doing, and when you're doing things from like operating from another space, you can feel that it then blocks you from the part of you that again has like the endless ideas and inspiration and can just give and give and give without there being like any sort of cutoff. It feels like the devil is kind of cutting off your inspiration here. And the devil can be like, just an example can be you doing something and like, let's say that you make art. Naturally, you would be like making art and then seeing what happens because of it. When the devil gets involved, it's like, let's just see how much money you can make, you know? And then that part of you that like wants to work with you from an inspired space, you end up having like this sort of conflict or block from that part of you, because it's like, you're just using me to make money, you know, like that type of thing. Just an example. So the devil, having the devil appear feels like a refocusing on what you're doing and what you're marking as like progress. Maybe also too how you're measuring your progress. Like maybe it's going to be more of an internal measure for you rather than an external one. You know, like how happy you feel when you're doing something, or how fulfilling a process feels to you, rather than focusing solely on the results that it's yielding for you. Because also too, then your motivation is going to be very dependent on something that's an external factor that you don't really have control over too. And then you can feel too like you're doing something for the wrong reasons, potentially. This feels like also needing to balance your self-care with this too. So maybe this is something where there can be, maybe you can look at both of these things and find a balance between the two of them. Maybe you want to focus on your process and also be checking out the outcome that happens as well, but not focus so much on one side of things that you're losing sight of the other. Because the devil speaks about things that have gotten out of balance. So something would be forced too much to one side or forced too much to the other side, and then you feel like you lose that centered sight. Temperance is the final card. I've been seeing this over and over. If you have been feeling like there's less satisfaction or less involvement, or you keep feeling like you're hitting blocks and there's not a fluid continuity with the energy, this is meant to be helpful. It feels like this part of yourself is sort of being recharged, and also getting so much into a space of overthinking is something that you could find it to be constantly blocking you. And instead, this is going to be like a deeper sense of connection with yourself, and also like what you know to really matter to you when it comes to what you're involved in. So you feel like you can like embrace and infuse this with a more deeply spiritual element. Queen of Cups and the High Priestess is the part of you that's like, things need to hold deeper meaning for me to feel fulfilled by it. And so it's about like bringing that back into the process for you, instead of overlooking that and having some type of superficial goal and having that be pretty much the only thing that you're focused on, and then wondering why you're feeling sort of like something isn't really resonating with you anymore, you know, like that type of thing, that type of feeling here. The thing too with the Devil is that it's always like more, like be more productive, be more effective, like you're not doing enough, like you can't stop now, you know, like get ahead. It's like that type of thing, and it can be something that you feel more like a machine than somebody that has a unique vision that is like guiding your process. So again, like, and two, this isn't about neglecting those things. Like that part of the process can be important too, but it's also about not neglecting like the spiritual aspect of things, or like the feeling aspect of things, the emotional aspect of things, the inspirational aspect of things, because that's where, part of where your magic comes from. That's part of where your energy comes from, and you need to have both of those things. So it's not about focusing like solely on one. It feels like it's about bringing like a conglomerate here, like bringing everything together, because we are seeing Queen of Pentacles. So that means like there's something in my personal life that I'm trying to do for myself, that I'm trying to manifest. Something about like my environment, or like stuff that I'm physically around, or my body, you know, that type of thing. And it's about prioritizing where it is that you're trying to go, how it is that you're trying to get there, and then also to infusing this aspect of something that cultivates and nurtures your the internal aspects of you, your moon energy, bringing heart into what you're doing, and looking at what you're doing with a sense of care, like it matters to you, like it's something that actually appeals to you and resonates with you, you know, so you can actually be involved in what you're doing and feel attuned to it and feel present to it, so it can feel more genuine for you. Remembering what's motivating you. Again, this feels like intertwining things rather than neglecting something, like bringing everything together, knowing that the Queen of Pentacles is just as important as the Queen of Cups, like both of them are, so not to like have one that overshadows the other, and then you feel like a part of you is neglected and that it's not really connected with your process anymore. Feels like this balance is something that's taking time here. I think too that the part of you that is the Queen of Pentacles you may still be working with that part of yourself and figuring out like what it needs to be satisfied. And you can, when it comes to Queen of Pentacles, there are lots of different things that this is connected with, but it feels like figuring out like what are your actual needs versus what do you might think are your needs, but then if you like meet those needs, you still feel like your needs are not being met, if that makes sense. So you're going through a process of figuring that out, where it's like sometimes you may emphasize certain things, focus on those certain things, achieve those certain things, and then be like, why do I feel like my needs are not being met? So it's about like getting to the truth, like cutting through the illusion of this, so you can prioritize your needs for real by recognizing what they actually are. And also having goals where you feel like when you accomplish them, you feel like you're accomplishing something for yourself, like specifically for you, and something that does resonate with you, and not being distracted by things that are these like false narratives that you don't actually resonate with. Balance is the key here. You're going to be continuously finding your footing, and I'm also seeing too that there's going to be like more and more happening where you're sort of discovering what you're looking for, but it's going to be a process of you finding those things. It's not like all of a sudden everything's going to like fall down from the sky and you're like, this is everything I've been looking for the most part. This is going to be like, let me look over here for it, and let me look over there for it, and like, is this working, or that's not working now, or this isn't what I thought it would be, you know, like this is a constant like editing and maneuvering and moving through this process in a very mutable way. So be patient, you're figuring things out. I'm also seeing there's a manifestation process that is coming to fruition, but that it's also a process too. So that's going to take time as well. And it feels like you're connecting better with a part of yourself, potentially multiple parts of yourself here. And feeling like you can show up in a way that you feel good about showing up. And you also feel like you have what you need, like you're coming, showing up with whatever it is that you need to have, resource-wise. Even if that resource is inspiration or ideas or emotional presence, you know, that type of thing. This also feels like picking and choosing which feelings you're deciding to respond to. Like when you have certain things that are coming up where it's like, I'm having this feeling, or I'm having this impulse, or I'm having this thought over here, feels like picking and choosing which of those you actually feel like are worth sending yourself on those missions versus what's not. And tuning in and using your discernment, and that's going to tell you like what's worth moving towards versus what isn't, you know, because like every impulse or thought that comes up isn't going to lead you somewhere that's going to feel fulfilling to you. So it's about tuning in and again using your discernment when it comes to what you're being moved by, what you're choosing to be moved by. I'm seeing something about this person's sneakers again. Like something about sneakers or shoes. When I think of feet, I think of Pisces. I think of your root chakra. I think of stability. Just some things that come to mind. Maybe there's going to be like a reconnection to something, like to the land or something like that, you know, like walk around barefoot or something. Who knows? Yeah, I get the feeling from this Queen of Cups that you can feel like something's been like manufactured to the point where there can feel like a disconnection and you need to reconnect in some way. So you can feel something like tug on your heartstrings in a way where maybe you're feeling disillusioned or disconnected right now. Like maybe you're in a spot where you're like, I want to care, but I almost feel like that part of me is like not, like I'm not connected to it right now. It can be like that type of thing. But I don't even think it's just care. I think it's about inspiration. So yeah, a lot of different things are going on here. That's what I'm seeing. Working with your subconscious energy as well and diving into there and bringing a flashlight to it, it seems. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.